Assalamu alaikum students. So today the paper that we'll be solving is AdMaths paper March 2024 paper 2. Starting with the very first question, it says that solve this because we have a value around the mod. We can simply simplify it, take 25 on that, 25 minus 5. Stepwise 2 and 25 minus 5. Then 8 minus 4x is 20 upon 2, which is 10. So I can say now, because it's a value, 8 minus 4x is either 10 or 8 minus 4x is negative 10. Either ways, I'll get my 4x as 2 or my 4x as negative 18. And then eventually solving both, I'll get the value of x as negative half or negative 4 and a half, sorry, positive 4. So these are the two values that we must end up with. Now part B is regarding a quadratic inequality. We'll first multiply the 6 on the other side, and 6 into 16 is 16 times 6 is 96 minus 96x minus 30 x squared minus 18 is less than 57 minus 9x. So minus 30x squared plus, so if I have a 96x plus 9x is 105x, and I have minus 18 minus 57 is minus 75 is less than 0. So now it's just quadratic inequality. We know that because x squared has a negative sign, it will be a sad face. So we can first find the critical values for this one. We can simplify it with 5 as well if needed, but if not, so we have minus 30 plus minus under root of, sorry, my bad. It is minus 105 plus minus under root of 105 square minus 4 minus 30 minus 75 upon 2 into minus 30. So now you can simplify first the value inside the bracket 105 squared minus 4 into minus 30 into minus 75. So 2025. So I'll end up getting minus 105 plus minus under root 2025 upon minus 60. So the two values of x that I will get is minus 105 plus under root answer upon minus 60, which is 1. And the other one will be 2025 minus 2.2025, which is 2.5. So these are the two critical values. Remember, we are solving an inequality. This will be a sad face. We can sketch a sad face, label these two critical values. And less than 0 means below the x-axis. So x will be less than 1 or x will be greater than 2.5. So these are the two values that we will end up with. Moving on to question number 2. The question does not want us to use the calculator in this one, which means you'll have to show every step of our working on the way. Now the question has provided us with two triangles, and they're telling us that all lengths are in centimeters, and we need to find the height of the smaller triangle in this form. We can simply use the ratio of similar figures a plus b root. The ratio of their heights will be equal to the ratio of their bases. So a plus b root 5 is what I need to find. So 20 over 4 plus 2 root 5, and 20 will be multiplied by 1 plus 7 root 5. So a plus b root 5 is 20 plus 140 root 5 upon 4 plus 2 root 5. Now we'll eventually rationalize it. One thing that we can do is before rationalizations, we can take 2 common and we will have 2 plus root 5. And even for the numerator, we can cancel it and we'll get 10 plus 70 root 5. So we can simplify this too and make things easier for ourselves. So a plus b root 5 is basically b 10 plus 70 root 5 and 2 plus root 5. Now this will just make the numbers smaller and easier. So now I'll multiply by the conjugate of the denominator 2 minus square root of 5. Square root of 5. So a plus b root 5 means that the denominator will be a squared minus b squared. And the numerator will be 20 minus 10 root 5 and then 140 minus 40 root 5 minus 70 into 5 is a plus b root 5. Denominator will be 4 minus 5, which is 1, just writing it for your satisfaction. 70 into 5 is 700 minus 330 plus 130 root 5. So now a plus b root 5 is simply minus 330 plus 130. So a is minus 330 and b is 130. So these are the values that we must end up with. Is these are the values that we can, sorry, the denominator will be 4 minus 1 negative 1. So the value that we'll end up getting is this. So 330 and b will be negative 1. So this is how we attempt such questions in which we have to show all our calculations. Now question number 3 is regarding vectors. They've provided us with a vector. They've provided us with a certain ratio. They want us to find an expression for OP. So we'll say that if we want to go from O to P, let's make a root first. OP can be taken as OA plus AP. I already know OA will be A and AP is 1/3 of AB. So I know OP is A, and in place of AB I can write AO plus OB. So OP is A plus 1/3 of negative A plus B. So OP is A minus 1/3 A is 2/3 of A and plus 1/3 of B. This is how we should end up getting OP. Moving on. Moving on. The diagram shows triangle. Okay. The ratio of AP and AB is 1:3. If this is 1, this is 3. So this will be total ka 1/4. Just a small correction. because I did not read the question carefully. I do not want you people to make this error in your calculations. And this is what we should end up with. The explanation is the same, just wrong ratio that we have used. Now, in the next part, this is a question that often confuses students. You can draw a vector and then understand it as well. They have given us a magnitude of 12 root 5 and they have provided a particular direction. So if I were to find the magnitude of this direction, the magnitude of 6 and minus 3 will be square root of 6 square plus negative 3 square. So 6 square is 36. Let's use your calculators to get 36 plus 9, which is 3 root 5. Now what you can do is, one way is, because this is 3 root 5 and you need a similar vector in the same direction, which is 4 times this vector. So I can simply write the vector q as multiplying this one by 4 to 24 and minus 9. Now similarly, the other vector, if I find the magnitude of that vector, I will get minus 5 squared plus 5 squared, and which the calculator will tell me is 25 plus 25, which is 5 under root 2. Now I can simply see that this vector is being multiplied by 3. So for vector r, I'll simply multiply the vector by 3. Another way is also through the unit vector, which is very common and you can easily find it even in the marking schemes. So multiplying this by 3, this is the vector that I end up getting. Now I can find the unit vector in the direction of q plus r. So q plus r, vector q is this. Q plus so this vector 25 or 24 minus 15 is 9, and this should be 6, 9 and 6. Now we need a unit vector in this direction, which will be 1 upon the magnitude, which is square root of 9 square plus 6. And that will multiply by the vector itself. Once we get the unit vector, which is under root of 81 plus 36, 3 under root 13, and 1 divided by answer under root 13 upon under root 13 upon 39, and that will eventually multiply by 9 and 6. So if this one multiplied by 9, we can leave the answer like this as well. I believe this is fine. This is a unit vector in the direction of q plus r. Again, another small calculation here that I made. I have to multiply this by 4. So this should have been 12. Sorry about that, because I'm trying to do so many calculations manually. And then up making an error. So now if I do this, under root of 81 plus 9, that is 3 under root 10, and 1 divided by answer is under root 10. We can leave the answer like this, or if you want, we can simplify the scalar multiple as well. But even this way, the answer looks fine. Now moving on to question number 4. is regarding differentiation and its simplification. Given that y is this, show that, okay, so if we were to differentiate it, well, how will we differentiate it? 6 sine x cos x minus sine x. So this is a derivative that we should get if we differentiate. Now it wants us to prove that y plus cot x dy by dx is k times 1 plus cos square x. So what we can do is, in place of dy by dx, we can simply put 6 sine x, our derivative that we have found. In place of y, we can also put the function that we already knew. And in place of this cot x, we'll just write cos x upon sin x. And we must make sure that this simplifies to k plus 1 cot x. So we'll get 3 sine square x plus cos x plus 6 cos square x minus cos x. Cos x and cos x cancelled out. In place of sine square x, we can just substitute 1 minus cos square x. And we'll end up getting 3 minus 3 cos square x plus 6 cos square x. So 3 plus 3 cos square x, 3 common 1 plus cos square x. So the value of k is, the question is not asked, but this is what we should end up with. Okay, now the second part, the question wants us to solve this. The value of k was 3, 1 plus cos square x is 4. 1 plus cos square x is 4 upon 3. And once we, the mean is from negative pi to pi. We will say cos square x is 1 upon 3. Now once we take the under root, we'll get 4 plus and minus under root of 1 by 3. The alpha for both, for the reference angle, will be the same, which is square root of 1 over. Make sure that your calculator is in radians. So cos inverse of 1 over 3, which is 1.231. Alpha is 1.231. So x will either be alpha in the first quadrant or the second quadrant, which is alpha and pi minus alpha, or in the fourth quadrant, which is negative alpha or negative pi plus alpha. So these are the 4 values of x that we will end up getting. So 1.23. Another value is pi minus answer 1.91. We have a negative 1.23 and negative 1.9. Obviously draw the 4 quadrants to help understand this in a better way. Right now I'm just focused on solving the paper, and for that this solution I believe is enough. Okay, so we found, oh again another mistake, I forgot to under root in this one, sorry again. जल्दी से सही कर लेते हैं. Cos inverse of root of 1 divided by 3. So we'll rectify our alpha 0.955. So this will be 0.955 pi minus answer 2.19 minus 0.955 minus 2.19. So these are the four values that we should end up. Moving on to the next question or the next part. It wants us to differentiate this. Y is tan of x minus x to the power half. So dy by dx is derivative of tan is sec square of x minus power half. This will be multiplied by the derivative of the angle 1 minus half x to the power negative half. Because the question is not asking for simplification, that is not needed. This answer is enough for this part. And hence fine. So now we will have to simplify it because wants us to use the reverse differentiation. Dy by dx will be 1 minus 1 over 2 square root of x into sec square of x minus square of x. So this is the derivative that we had. And now it wants us to find this. So first, if we were to ask, if the question would have asked us to integrate this is something that we can integrate, and we know the integral of this will be tan of x minus now let's try to simplify this. In place of the sec, I am writing 1 upon cos square of x minus x. And if I were to simplify it using an LCM with the first fraction, I'll say that this will be 2 square root of x and 2 square root of x minus 1. So if I wanted to integrate, this is something that I can integrate. Now I'll try to form it in the way that the question is provided me. What can I do? I'll write it as a simple fraction 2 square root of x cos square of x minus square root of x 2 square root of x minus 1. Now what is the difference? The question does not want a 2 over here. So 2 is a constant. I can always take 2 as a common outside. It does not affect my integral. It goes and it multiplies on the other side with the entire tan. And I should end up getting 2 tan x minus root of x and plus c. So this is the answer that I should get, the integral that the question is asking for. Moving on to question number 5. Variables x and y related by the equation this. And it wants us to find the approximate change in y when x changes. So we'll use the product rule in this. U is x, v is ln 3x. The derivative of u is 1. The derivative of v is 3x in the denominator. The derivative of that 3 in the numerator, which is 1 upon x. So dy by dx derivative is v ln 3x into derivative of u, which is 1 minus x into 1 upon x upon v squared. So the derivative that we will end up with is ln 3x, and this is ln 3x minus 1. Now this can be approximated to a small change in y over a small change in x, and the value of x that we'll use is 1. So ln 3 minus 1 is ln 3 whole squared, and the change in x is h. So h into ln 3 minus 1 upon ln 3. Sorry, h goes and it multiplies on the other side. Oh, we can simply have ln 3 minus 1 divided by ln 3 squared. This is 0.0817. So this is the value that we will end up. Okay. Moving on to part number 6. Even that has a very easy and exact integration. Area enclosed by the curve, this x-axis and the line x minus 0.25 and 0.5. So if I wanted to find the area, integrate it, put on the limits as 0.5, upper value minus 0.25, e to the power 2 minus 4x. First, we will integrate it, e to the power 2 minus 4x. Power remains as it is, we divide by the derivative of the power. Upper limit is 0.5, lower limit is 0.25. So area is first we apply the upper limit, e to the power 2 minus 4 into 0.5 minus the lower limit, e to the power 2 minus, because it is exact, we'll keep our answer in terms of e if we need to. E to the power 0 is 1, which is minus 1 over 4 minus, and sorry, so this will be minus e upon 4. So the area that we will end up with is e minus 1 upon 4. On this right, 2 minus 4x, minus 1 यहाँ plus हो जाएगा, so this will be cube. Another mistake, use your calculator whenever needed. So that's it for this part. We'll continue the remaining paper in the next part. So watching.